Episode of the podcast today. It's short and sweet. It's as simple as this. We have to bounce back quickly, urgently. This is a sheer issue at this football club now. I could talk about this for 40 minutes, but it does not make any difference. This is now down to the players. When Peterborough had the ball and we didn't, we looked scared, we looked vulnerable, and we looked like we were going to concede from the get-go. I'd just like to say as well, we're on a road to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and the incentive if we do get that 100 subscribers is I will be doing a live episode of the podcast for 100% the Swindon game, the away Swindon game next year in March time. But if thinking about that's quite a long way into the future. But if we do get 100 subscribers before the end of the year, I'll definitely be doing that one. And I'll say definitely, we're doing a live watch along, and a live episode of the podcast, and a watch along for a game before that Swindon game as well. But we have to hit 100 subscribers before the start of the year. Very difficult to fish positives, and even the people that are always positive at all times, surely you're finding it difficult to find positives now, because we can say we look decent going forward, but we haven't scored a goal and they'll bottle their ideas up and start performing. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. And it's another defeat for Oxford United in the league, and one in which wasn't a fantastic performance either. Obviously in recent games we've sort of mentioned how we've sort of looked okay in defeats, and some would argue say unlucky, but I think today we just weren't very good at all. I thought defensively we were not very good. I thought going forward we didn't create as many chances as we did, and we didn't get a goal at the end of it. And I think lots of different areas of today's performance wasn't very good either. I was not happy with the performance. Today we're going to be analysing that performance. We're going to be going through every single point that I've written down. We're going to be doing a first half review, a second half review, and my sort of overall thoughts on the game, as well as, of course, the player ratings, because that's what we usually do, and that is what we usually do as well. I'd just like to say as well, we're on a road to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and the incentive if we do get that 100 subscribers is I will be doing a live episode of the podcast for 100% the Swindon game, the away Swindon game next year in March time. But if thinking about that's quite a long way into the future. But if we do get 100 subscribers before the end of the year, I'll definitely be doing that one. And I'll say definitely, we're doing a live watch along, and a live episode of the podcast. And a watch along for a game before that Swindon game as well. But we have to hit 100 subscribers before the start of the year. 73% of the people that are watching the content and watching the podcast at the moment aren't subscribed. So if you want to see some live episodes of the podcast, subscribe, because that will be happening if we hit 100 subscribers. We're currently on 90. We're 10 subscribers away. We need 10 subscribers in about 2 months. Can we do that? Let's hope we can. If you watch this now and you're not subscribed, let's get this done as quickly as possible, and then we can brew and do some live episodes of the podcast as soon as possible. That would be fantastic. I can't wait to do it, and hopefully you'll be excited to see that as well. Let's crack on with it then. We've got the notes in front of us here. We'll go through the first half. The first 10 minutes, I thought we were on top. We didn't look on it. We looked quite panicked, and we looked scared as well, which I think was a fair representative of the game. Of course, I'm richly writing this as the game goes down. We did look scared in the first 10 minutes. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what happened. Our foot on the ball. We tried to put our foot on the ball. It didn't work. It was bouncing all over the shop. Peterborough could just basically keep hold of the ball and play the way they wanted to play. And then in the next 30 minutes, I think up to the 40th minute, I thought we played much better. We got our foot on the ball, we started playing better, we created a few chances, and we could have scored from the corner as well. Adji had a really good opportunity, but it didn't go into the back of the net. We've been very, very unlucky so far this season with chances going into the back of the net. Last game, obviously, against Gillingham, we dominated. All we did was knock on that door, but we couldn't get to the end of it. And it is getting very, very difficult, and you do have to ask questions. Are we going to get any luck? We've got a big game on Tuesday now. Every game's a big game, but this game now is even bigger that we get those 3 points against the MK Dons game on Tuesday, and then a huge game on Saturday as well, of course, against Swindon, of course, the big game against Swindon. But we can hype this Swindon game up as much as we can, but the games coming up now, we need to start playing better in, because today was another very bad performance as well. Going forward, we looked okay, and I view that I don't want to come across negative all the time, but it's very difficult to fish positives, and even the people that are always positive at all times, surely you're finding it difficult to find positives now, because we can say we look decent going forward, But we haven't scored a goal in the last 2 games. Sorry, we did score in the last one, but we conceded 3. And we had that many chances to didn't score. Today, we didn't score either. And defensively, we look fragile, we look frail, we look scared. Which is a huge problem. If you're defensively scared and you can't get it in the back of the net, we're in a whole lot of bother. More than just bother. Serious issues at this football club at the moment. But anyway, moving forward then into the next phase of the game. So the last 5 minutes, we looked phased by Peterborough, is what I wrote down. I think that was a fair representation. We did look seriously phased. A simple ball. The goal came from a simple ball over the top. No one was closing him down. It comes over. 2 players ruffled along, bump into each other like a bunch of schoolboys on a playground. It comes over, and no one knows what really goes on from there. In Eastwood's mind, he comes out. He thinks it's a good idea to come out. It's a simple but quality finish, I must say, lobbed over his head into the back of the net. That's not good whatsoever. And Eastwood probably should take some responsibility for that. When you come out, you've got to claim that ball, and he came out and didn't claim that ball. Not too great from that point of view, and from his point of view specifically. When you come out like that, you've got to either make yourself look big, or you've got to get to the ball first, or you track back if you can possibly get there in time. He did neither. He went over his head, and it's 1-0 after the 43rd minute, and Ward scored as well. Ironic. For sure. Peterborough didn't look phased by anything that we sort of came forward, and when we did that when they did have the ball, Oxford, we looked scared. It was the opposite way round. When we had the ball and they come out, they looked comfortable, they looked pretty confident in what they were doing. When we had the ball, when Peterborough had the ball and we didn't, we looked scared, we looked vulnerable, and we looked like we were going to concede from the get-go. As soon as they got the ball and started playing it around us, we looked at each other like we were scared and we didn't know what we're doing, which is a problem, a huge problem if you're a team that's lacking confidence anyway. The only way you're going to get confidence back is start putting some performances and start doing better, and we're not doing that whatsoever. It's got to be improved, and it's just not being improved at the moment. Every game, it's just a piece of ifs, buts and maybes, and after the game, it's an ifs, buts and maybes. But in that 90 minutes, it's just a game in which we do not have a control and we do not have a clue what is going on. As fans, we're watching this and we look scared. We look scared as fans. We look worried as fans of what's going to happen. It doesn't look good at all. Every time they get a set piece, once again today, we looked poor. Not as bad as we have done in recent games, I must say that. But still, from corners, from set pieces, we didn't look bad. We probably had more set pieces than I think they did in today's game, but we still looked shaky from them, and we didn't do anything from them when we were attacking with a set piece either, which again is a problem. If you're going to have a few set pieces, Anthony Ford can deliver a ball every day of the week, but he delivered some few in today, and we just did not get anything on it in a positive way, and we didn't look like we were really going to score from one. The only one was Adji, and that was in the first half. I did watch it back. I thought there was maybe a tug of the shirt. I thought the referee was quite dodgy today. I know it's an easy excuse. It's not an excuse, but it is something that we're going to mention. The referee today was not fantastic. He wasn't really, wasn't on Oxford's side. Let's put it that way. But that's no excuse. We were bad today, and I was very frustrated watching the game. I thought Ford looked good. I think I mentioned that already at the first half. Yeah, and I did actually mention at the end of the game as well. Some decent set pieces, but nothing came of them. Some positive balls going forward. One fantastic ball from midfield over to Mark Sykes. Didn't do anything with it, but a very, very nice ball as well. I thought Gorham, when he came on, looked better. I think he added a bit of shot. I think he added a bit of, oomph to the game. It's not a word, of course it isn't, but he added certainly something to this game. He sort of looked like he was going to create something. Well, not even create, but he looked like he was going to add something to the game in a positive way. He could have possibly been sent off. He didn't even get given a foul, the referee there, so I don't know what the ref was doing there, to be honest. But that was a foul out of the many he got wrong, in my opinion. But I just today was not impressed with the performance, and it's frustrating. It really is quite frustrating, because every day now and every game we try and find the positive and the hope we possibly can, and today it was just very poor, in my opinion. I wasn't impressed with it, and it makes Tuesday's game even bigger now. 4 defeats from 5 games is not good at all. We are going to be rock bottom going into this weekend now. We could have taken a point. I would have taken a point, and that would have been a very, very good point. But we can't be we can lose these games. We have, but if we want to be where we want to be as a football club, we can't be losing these sort of games. We can't be losing the games we've lost previously so far this season, and they do not get easier as well. I mean, MK Dons at home. I'm pretty sure won today as well. We've then got Swindon, who've been playing pretty decent. They lost today as well, I think. But we are playing them the following Saturday, and we've got some really difficult fixtures coming up after them as well. At half time, we were bottom of the league in the live table. I'm guessing we are now. I haven't checked. I'm not going to lie. But it's poor. It's very, very poor as well. And as we move on to the second half, another mistake for the second goal. Kelly with a bad pass and Long doesn't get there. I mean, that is sloppy defending. The idea of not bringing in a defender in the transfer window now just looks nothing but naive and silly. Defensively, we were bad today as well. I said this in the last one, in the last match reaction against Gillingham. I said it and I got, not criticism and stick from it, but I definitely got a few people saying that, let's look at the positives and look at the attack. How can you look at the positives in a performance when we look as shambles at the back? I mean, we're not even scoring goals, and out of the chances we're creating, which is a real problem. I mean, today, defensively, we looked all over the place. I thought Long at centre-back looked pretty decent, and then obviously a miscommunication and a mix of that and a bad pass by Kelly, and it goes into the back of the net. The teams we're playing against are clinical. They're scoring goals. They're scoring clinical strikes against us. We're creating probably more chances than the opposition, but they're outscoring us because they're clinical going forward and much more clinical than Oxford. Which isn't that difficult, to be honest, with the amount of the shots and chances we have to the goal ratio. I mean, it's embarrassing. And defensively for them as well, they are much solid than us. Again, it's not difficult because every time a team comes forward at our defence, we shake. It's like an earthquake's about to hit us, and then we all fall over and let them score. We look scared at the back, and defensively, we're bringing in wingers. We're bringing in what you want. You could bring in Messi to this team going forward. It might help us in the level, but look at the players around this player that we've brought in. Of course, Shadipa, I haven't mentioned him. I hope I pronounced that right as well. He looks good. He looks like he's gonna influence and help us something going forward. And he offers a bit of experience at 23. He's not a real raw youngster, but he is young. He is going to offer us something good. I'm hopeful of that, and I'll always be positive when a new player comes in. But surely defence should have been priority. Again today, it shows more, and Atkinson looked like it was going to work, and Atkinson's not here. I mean, Cameron Brannigan, we haven't even mentioned that either, with an eye infection in hospital at the moment. It's not luck. It's not great luck, from Oxford United. But we've got to go through that. There was times last season we didn't have Cameron Brannigan, and yes, we weren't great without him, but we could deal without Cameron Brannigan. We could play some football without Cameron Brannigan. Today, we did not we just didn't look very good at all. A player that can change a game is Cameron Brannigan, and without him today, we looked bad. We looked really bad in midfield. I thought Henry played pretty decent as captain. His 500th appearance for Oxford United. Congratulations to Henry for that. But I thought he looked pretty decent. I thought Kelly looked. I don't know how to say this. Kelly looked. I'm very rarely ever short for words. I thought Kelly played poor for the majority of the game. At times he looked okay. I thought at times he looked like he was going to create something, and looks at times like he was going to, pick out a decent pass. I thought he would, but I don't think today we played using Kelly's strength. I thought Kelly's real strength normally is being able to get to the ball to his feet, and unlike Gorin, you could arguably say, is sort of create something going forward. And we didn't do that today with him. He did not do that. He didn't offer us that, which is a problem. And when you put someone like Kelly in the lineup, he does give you something more in attack. And he didn't do that today, which is really frustrating, and I was very frustrated by that. I wasn't happy with that. I was quite annoyed by it. I don't think he played very well at all. As we move on as well, we need to stop learning, and the commentators were saying how we were learning. We need to stop learning, we need to start winning games, because ultimately all we're learning at the moment is defensively we're bad, and the players are losing confidence. Game by game, these players are losing confidence, and it's easy just to say the defence was bad, and that's what I'm saying. But there are reasons why the defence isn't bad. It is bad. It's because confidence is so low in this squad, not just in defence, but all over the shop and all over the squad and all over the team as well. I'm guessing the management staff has always lost confidence. We've lost confidence. I was on the Twitter earlier, the Oxford United Twitter, and the poll was, what's going to happen in this game? And 60% of the fans voted for a Peterborough win. Oxford fans. I mean, it could have been Peterborough fans as well, but I doubt Peterborough fans were hopping over to an Oxford United poll. I'm sure they had their own one on their own social media. But Oxford fans were predicting a Peterborough win. And a lot of people were tweeting how Oxford United are going to lose today. And it happened again. We lacked confidence. We lacked so many things, and we were not good enough. We were very, very bad. I thought going forward we could have done something different. We could have added something different to our game. I thought Hall coming on instead of Osai coming on instead of Hall was questionable. Maybe it was the body type that Carl Robinson was going for there. Maybe a bit more of a strength. Maybe that's the sort of thing that Agi offers as well. It was different. It was difficult. I thought it was a game in which it so easily could have gone another way, but the performance again has stopped us from doing that. The performance at the back and I guess the performance going forward as well. If you're not scoring goals, clearly there's something not clicking going forward as well. We look shaken all the time. I thought Claire played well, if that's a positive take out of it. I thought Claire probably had his best game at right back today. I thought Ford played pretty well as well. I thought Henry played pretty well as well. I thought and all the other bunch of players were pretty average. I thought Eastwood's was really quite questionable. The second goal as well, it went straight through his legs. I mean, it's not a great save at all. Or obviously not a great save. I mean, he should have handled a few. He's some dodgy punches from set pieces. I mean, at least didn't go in. He didn't look as confident, and of course you wouldn't be confident when you're conceding goals like he is at the moment. With the defence in front of him as well, he's probably not full of confidence. It's frustrating, it's difficult, and it's hard to take as a fan because we are so confident going into this season. And so far this season, we do not look good at all. We look well off the mark. That's my main analysis of it. That's how I feel about the game. I think the transfer market is done now. This is the squad we're going into the season with. Or we're already in the season, but this is what until January for now anyway. This is what we're going to have to deal with. Carl Robinson's got to get the best out of these players, and we've got to get a win on Tuesday night, and we've certainly got to get a win against Swindon as well for obvious reasons there as well. Please subscribe to this Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel, follow the Instagram as well, do all of that good stuff as well. We're going to be doing player ratings really quickly now. I've given Eastwood a 4. I've given Claire a 7, I've given Long a 6, I've given Moore a 6, I've given Ruffles a 5, Kelly a 5, Henry a 6, Ford a 7, Sykes a 6, Taylor a 6, and Agi a 6. Not very high in all those performances. Claire with the highest and Ford with the highest of 7. I don't think it was a very good performance as well. It's a shortened episode of the podcast today. It's short and sweet. It's as simple as this. We have to bounce back quickly. Urgently. This is a sheer issue at this football club now. I could talk about this for 40 minutes, but it does not make any difference. This is now down to the players to buck their ideas up and start performing much better. Today was not a good performance. The other 4 defeats have not been good performances either. As fans, we need to get behind the players now. As fans, we need to get behind the team. We need to train hard in the next few days. Get a win against MK Dons on Tuesday. There'll be a preview and a match reaction for that. And we need to get back for Swindon the derby as well. If there's a game to turn it around, it's in midweek. And if there's 3 points to have, it's against Swindon at the weekend as well. Thank you very much for listening to the Young Fan Podcast. Subscribe as well. We're on the road to 100 subscribers before the end of the year for the live watch-along podcast. If you're excited for that, leave a like and subscribe as well. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. This has been your match reaction for Oxford United versus Peterborough in our unlucky but poor performance 2-0 defeat against them, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I'll see you later.